Origin Code Academy. Our job is to get you one.
Welcome to Origin Code Academy. I am Jeff Winkler, and today we have the CEO of 3Screens, Ben Nowacky, with us today. Welcome. Tell me a little bit about 3Screens, like what you guys do, what your mission is per se.
Sure. So 3Screens Studio, we're a software development shop. We're kind of technology agnostics, and we try to find the technology solution or the technology stack that's going to best help them to meet their goals. So it might be Python one day, it might be Golang the next, and it might be .NET the next day. But it can be a little challenging because we have developers who have to be very multifaceted and multi-talented in what they do.
Gotcha. That's really interesting, actually. I've never heard anyone doing something like that.
Yeah,
it sounds like a lot of work.
What we find is when we give the developers the power to kind of pick their projects and the language that they work in, they get very energized about what they're doing. So they get excited and they take a lot of ownership in what they do.
For sure. Yeah. That's really awesome. So you don't even have, like, if it's in Python, you send it to your Python guy.
No.
It's literally just everybody kind of is like all hands on deck when you have a client.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, so, you know, we're a very flat organization. We don't have a whole lot of management structure. We don't refer to people by titles, you know. Now we do have guys that are a little bit better in certain things. So they'll usually be like a technical lead on a project. It really helps us kind of scale up and down on projects as deadlines are approaching or as needs are met.
How do you kind of determine or walk through like that process of determining what technologies are, or like how does that process work? What does that look like?
Sure. So there's usually two reasons that we pick a technology stack, right? So one is they have a bunch of existing technology in place already.
Right.
The other thing that we'll do is we'll look at the specifications of the project itself. What are the goals? What are they trying to accomplish? We're a big believer in not having a client be tied to us long-term ever. So when we work on a project, we provide full documentation to the team that we're working for. We do unit testing on everything. They have access to the GitHub repos that we do. We usually put it in their GitHub repos. So at any time the client says, okay, we're done with this project, they have complete access to everything. They can hire a team internally, and we're able to just kind of walk away and say, great, we left them with a great product.
That's awesome. So can you talk a little bit about how the company itself started?
Yeah, so I was working for a local company in San Diego that does the rock and roll marathons, competitor group, and we got acquired by a private equity group, rolled up with a couple companies. I stayed on through the private equity part because I thought it would be a really great learning experience. And I kind of reached a point where I said, you know what, I've done everything I can here and I'm ready to kind of move on. So I kind of took that as my own kick in the butt and said, hey, I'm just going to go out and start doing this on my own.
Right.
And then I just started growing, and I said, you know what? If I want to make this into a real business, and I want to kind of create something that's sustainable, and I have the opportunity to help other people out, then I need to kind of take this to the next level. So, you know, we had some clients that came on that were larger, and we were able to staff up, brought on people. We opened up an office in North County in Escondido, right downtown, that we're super proud of. We're trying to bring some of the downtown culture that you see down here up to North County. Nobody's really doing that up in North County. One of the things I always tell my guys that work with me is, I don't expect you to be here forever. And if I can give people the opportunity to kind of take a step from they're with me here and they can take another step up here with their next job, and then I'm happy. I've given them an opportunity to help themselves and get to a better spot themselves. So that's what I try to do with everybody.
Can you talk a little bit about the San Diego market and the hiring market?
Yeah, so San Diego market's really unique. You know, I do a lot of work in, you know, some of the major metros, New York, Chicago, Florida. I've been out here for about 11 years myself. It's a really interesting market. So what we found is because it's such kind of this hidden tech hub, right? It's I think it's the fourth largest VC invested city in the United States right now. So there's more VC fund money in here than, you know, Chicago and some of these big areas. We find that we have to deal a lot with recruiters, which is great. They have a lot of connections, but it becomes a little impersonal sometimes, and you feel kind of like you're kind of snaking somebody from another company.
Sure.
So we love working with companies like Origin Code Academy. We do a lot of internships at the high school level even also.
So what advice would you give junior developers for a sustainable career?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So what I found really successful developers do is they're really able to kind of take projects on and learn things pretty quickly. So what I tell a lot of the interns and things that I work with is work with a company and start small. Take any job you can get, even if it's not exactly what you want to be doing. Just get in there and get the experience. Then work independently on your own. Find a project, find something you're interested in a technology stack, a language, an environment that you really love, and work on it in your own time. Build up your GitHub repo. As a hiring manager, somebody who's doing hiring, that's one of the first places I look is GitHub. And I say, what do you have in GitHub? What have you worked on? Then I go to Stack Overflow. Are you posting questions in Stack Overflow? Are you helping people in Stack Overflow? The last 2 or 3 years have been very heavy front-end focused. Lots of JavaScript, lots of Angular. That's kind of been where the focus is, and that's where, if you're a developer kind of coming out, I would say focus your efforts on, because that's where the money is also right now.
Right.
But I think you're going to see a swing in the next probably 2 to 3 years to moving more to the back end again. You're going to see a lot more machine learning systems coming out. So kind of understanding, having a really good, strong foundation in algorithms and math, and kind of being able to work with math, and that's a huge part of machine learning. So that's kind of where I see the market going in the next couple of years.
Awesome. You've told us a little bit about how the company started and some of the challenges you face now. What kind of gets you guys to the next step?
Sure. So right now we're focused on our strategic partnerships. So we've got a lot of really good partners that we're really kind of developing long-term relationships with and helping them solve problems. And we're looking for more of those opportunities. We love working with companies that we can really embed ourselves with long-term and not just do a feature and then move on. It's really allowed us to learn the business and help them solve problems that they may not have even identified yet.
We have a lot of students that have some more technical abilities, some more social skills. Talk a little bit about what you guys are looking for. Which one of those are more important?
Yeah, so when we talk to developers, a lot of times, they get kind of scared. They may be really good at writing code, but they may not be good talking to a client, and they get kind of nervous. So what we look for is a couple things, and we look on both sides of the spectrum. Some of our developers just love writing code, and they don't ever want to deal with the client. Some of the developers are very outgoing, and they love talking to clients. So we call them, sales engineers. So I look for people who are not afraid to fail, and people who just want to learn. That have that deep desire to kind of learn new things. And if you have both of those, whether you're client-facing or you're just writing code all day interfacing with just the team, you're going to be successful.
All right, thanks for joining us today. Again, I'm Jeff Winkler with Origin Code Academy, and just wanted to thank Ben for coming in today and spending some time with us.